Hey, how's it going? I'm Chris with PearsonCopy.com, and I'm here to help your brand make more sales with email. As part of my 100 emails and 100 days breakdown challenge, I'm breaking down another email from Paw5 for you today. This is an email in their abandoned cart sequence. I believe it's their abandoned cart sequence because the last action I took on their website was abandoning my cart for a product called the Snuffle Mat. So I believe this is part of their sequence for abandoned carts. And the reason why I clicked into this and wanted to break this email down and go back to Paw5 instead of going to a different brand for today is because they're using a social movement or assuming that their customers are socially conscious and that social movements or social credibility in the sense of sourcing material, labor, things like that, where how they're using labor and where their products are coming from matters to their customers. So I thought that was very interesting, very unique. Some brands do lead with this of like we're socially conscious, we're ethically sourced products, etc. They lead with that, but Paw5 did not lead with that. They led with their products, problems that their products solve for their customers and such. But in their abandoned cart sequence, very specifically in their abandoned cart sequence, they're using this social movement, social conscious angle, which I thought was very interesting. I've not seen that before from brands. Now, with that being said, it just depends on your customer. It depends on your list, and it depends on what's actually going to emotionally resonate with your customers. Some customers don't resonate with socially conscious movements or causes at all. That's not the reason why they buy. Some customers, like Paw5 is assuming here with their customers, is that buying a product from Paw5 is a good thing, but the customer feels even better when they buy from Paw5 and they know that that money is being used for something good in society and culture in somewhere other than the brand. Like the brand's not just profiting; they're actually they're actually causing positive change in the world, as opposed to just leveraging labor for cheap labor somewhere and getting their products made so they can make a profit, right? So those motives are super important to know about your list, about your ideal customer, because they can influence how you write your abandoned cart sequences, how you write your welcome sequence, how you write any kind of automation, as well as any kind of campaign or broadcast you run through email. So yeah, that's a huge insight for this email, and that's a big reason why I chose it to break it down today for you. With that being said, let me go and dive in. We can go into the specifics of why I believe the social credibility, social movement is the angle of this email and what you can take back to your brand and to use with your customers and your lists and your emails. So the first thing here, we're going to look at the subject line. Our factory empowers workers in Ghana. So something here, the subject line, I really like it. I clicked on it. The reason I clicked on it was the subject line because I knew that it was from Paw5. I knew that I abandoned cart. There's probably abandoned cart sequences party. I assume that it's going to look like most of the other ones with a lot of design and just, hey, here's your cart. Here's a reminder, go buy. But because I saw it was from Paw5 and it said our factory empowers workers in Ghana, I got really curious because I was like, oh, so you're actually revealing your source or your supply chain, your source of like where your labor is and how you're making products. I'm curious about this. I want to know what you're going to say in this email. So that's why I clicked. That right there, that curiosity piece or that I want to know more piece or that teaser or speaking to the values of the customer, I think Paw5 does this in their subject line. I really think they do. So I think it's a great job there. The from name, from email address. I've said this before in other videos. They most e-commerce brands do use their brand name as their from name, and their from email address use some kind of version of help at, support at, info at, hi at, something. What I would suggest is, like I've said in other videos as well, the more you can make the email feel like it's from an actual person, the better you're going to do when it comes to opens, clicks, and sales. If you use an email address, your from address as like no reply or do not reply at, people, once they see it, they're going to say, oh, this is just automation. This is a promo email. This is a market email. While customers, especially in the US and the West, people are becoming more and more ad blind, meaning they are becoming more in tune with what is an ad and what isn't. And they're assuming more things are marketing and promotions as opposed to just messages from people. So their default reaction is if it's a promo at all, if I sniff it at all and it's anything close to a promo, I'm not going to open it. Or I might save it for later to open when I'm in a better mental state so I can say no because I don't want to buy something. Customers are becoming like they're leaning into that. So how do you address that? In most cases, telling stories are a great vehicle to deliver sales messages. Stories, people inherently open up and listen to stories because we've been using them for thousands of years as humans to pass down tradition, wisdom, experience, knowledge, to entertain. So stories are a great way to deliver that. Also, too, if you have a lot of trust, if your list trusts you, you can send them. You have some leeway and some grace in sending them direct pitches versus just like an email that says, "Hey, here's 6 ways to do X," like a value email. So it just really depends. And I know that's a lot just for from email address, but it does matter. That little thought, the little blip in somebody's mind when they say, "Oh, this is Bob at paw5.com." It's like, "Oh, this is actually from Bob." That little blip versus do not reply of, "Oh, I can't reply. It's an automation." That right there matters that pre-frames people into seeing the email and perceiving the email in a certain way. As much as we may think we scan over it and don't realize that we're reading it or consuming it, subconsciously your brain is tracking that. It is taking that in and putting you in a state to accept or deny whatever the message is. So as much as that seems like a small thing, it does matter. It's the little things that matter over time that make email work so well. Moving into the email itself. So Paw5 puts their brand name, logo, etc. in the actual image. So they have a branded image here, which I like. It's not too big, so it's not intrusive. It doesn't really stop you from scrolling. It's just part of the experience here with the design. So I like that. And then the big statement here, the big promise I would say, is manufacturing for good. So they tied to the theme of our factory empowers workers in Ghana, manufacturing for good. So that theme is tied and they're staying consistent, which is great. And it's just a big promise. It's like, this is what you're buying, basically, is we're manufacturing. We try to do the best we can, or we do good with our manufacturing. And that's what people are buying. It's a big promise. Then you've got your product. So the Snuffle mat is here. Something I noticed too in the last email I did with their first abandoned cart sequence was the Snuffle mat seems to have its own abandoned cart sequence. I'd assume this bowl here, this puzzle bowl or feeding bowl, also has its own. It looks like Paw5 is using popular items and giving them their own abandoned cart sequences, which is totally great because once you know it's a popular item, you can get super specific and super custom on how you address abandoned carts for that product, as opposed to just a general one that covers everything. A general abandoned cart sequence works, but it can limit you on how you actually approach the sales and the conversation of getting people to complete the purchase. If you go even into a category of, let's say, snuffle mats or just puzzles, food puzzles for dogs, that is a category, which you can get way more specific than saying just a general abandoned cart for any product that relates to dogs or any product that relates to pets, right? The more specific you can get, typically, the better your conversions and sales are going to be because you can speak directly to the problems, the solutions, the fears, the desires, the goals, etc., of the customer buying that product. So something I noticed here is they include in both abandoned cart sequence emails that I've seen, they include this puzzle feeding bowl. I went after the Snuffle mat, but they're putting this thing front and center. I'm not really sure. They're either trying to upsell or they're trying to switch over what you want to buy. But when I first scrolled down and looked at this email, I was like, oh, the Snuffle, like I saw the bowl first and I was like, that's not what was in my cart. And then I saw the Snuffle mat behind it and I was like, oh, that's what I'm buying. Why are they showing me this? I didn't choose this. So that's something Paw5 could consider testing if they haven't already, is just stick with the items that your customer puts in their cart, at least for the first couple of abandoned cart emails. If they don't buy after the first 2 or 3 abandoned cart emails, if you have, like, let's say 5 or 7 or however many you want to do, you can go up, you can use as many as you need to try and get that conversion and use coupon codes and incentives and all that stuff. It really just depends on your strategy. But what I would say is the first 2 at least stick to the products that are in the cart. Because that has the highest intent of being purchased, because that's what people put in the cart to see what it costs, to look at the shipping, to look at etc. There's all these reasons why they didn't buy. So don't try. I would say don't try, but what I would say is when you add other factors into the buying process, like adding an item that they didn't originally put in the cart, yeah, sure, you might convert a couple percent of people that say, oh, I want that instead, or I want that additionally. You're starting people over in the buying process. They're so close to completing the purchase with the Snuffle mat, like myself. And then you add the bowl, and now it creates more questions. And it's like, oh, wait, should I buy the Snuffle mat? Should I buy this bowl? I don't know what I should buy. And ultimately, a higher percent of people are not going to buy because they don't know, they're confused, or they're not really sure, or they have to shop some more. And so you're delaying potential revenue just to get somebody to buy something else or buy something instead of. So that bowl instead of the Snuffle mat or with it. If you want to use the bowl as an upsell to say, hey, if you're trying to get your dog some more puzzles, do the bowl at checkout. If somebody adds a Snuffle mat to their cart, upsell the bowl in the checkout process so it's already there and they can add it. I wouldn't do it in the abandoned cart sequence just because you're trying to get people to focus on completing the purchase, whatever those items were in their cart, not necessarily upsell them or add things to the cart later. And that's just a general approach. That's a general strategy approach. Paw5 may have other reasons why they're doing this. They may be trying to raise AOV. They may be trying to increase lifetime value of customer sooner. So they're trying to get people to buy more upfront, or at least consider buying this later after they get the Snuffle mat. It really just depends on the strategy. But ideally, what I would test is remove this bowl entirely and just go with the Snuffle mat or whatever item is in the cart, and stick with that and see how that does with opens, clicks, and sales and completed purchases. Now, something I really like about this email, they use their copy really well. So one, our factories empower workers in Ghana, manufacturing for good. So that theme of just, when you buy from us, you buy more than just our products, you buy our social efforts and our social positive change. And then their copy speaks directly on that. So the first section, I guess I should start with "Hey Chris." So it's personalized. It uses my first name. That's great. That's the baseline expectation when it comes to emails. If you're not using people's first names, your emails better be freaking entertaining, because they're gonna see that their names aren't used or not used, which means they're already out of your email. They're saying, "Hey, why didn't you use my name? Everybody uses my name," and they're out of the email. So the longer you keep them in your sales message, the longer you keep them in reading consumption mode, the better. But if they ever pop out of that because of some reason, whether it's you, them, their kid, their dog, somebody tried to break in their house while they're reading an email, whatever it may be, it pulls them out of the sales message, the email, the story, and you have to get them back to that, which is really tough to do. You've already got them there once. Why try? Why make it so they have to come back again to complete the action you want them to take? So with that being said, that's just a little insight there on personalization. Is baseline first names, absolutely use them in subject lines if you can. If you know you can use, it makes sense to. But yeah, "Hey Chris" or "Hey name," that's great. Use their name in the copy. So about halfway down or where it makes sense, use their name again. That will trigger some dopamine and just some chemicals in their brain, positive chemicals, because they're going to reading and they don't expect their name to be there, and it's a surprise. It's like, oh wow, they used my name again, or oh well, maybe this is a personal email because they use it in the middle of the paragraph. Like, nobody does that. Very few brands actually leverage the simple use of somebody's name in their copy. And I think it's super important that you can test with that and say, hey, okay, where did we put the name? Did we use it twice, 3 times, 5 times? What did that do to opens, clicks? You can test just using somebody's first name in an email a few times and see what that does. So there's a little bit of tidbit. That's a little tidbit on personalization and what you can do with it. So a couple paragraphs here. There's roughly 3 to 4 paragraphs here. On the first one here, we want to take a moment to tell you that paragraph. They explain their factory. They explain their partnership with that manufacturing factory, and they explain what it does, and their movement or their positive change or their efforts here. It empowers vulnerable women in Ghana with quality employment and job training so they can earn a living wage for themselves and their family. So not only are they pulling labor from Ghana, but they're teaching these people how to make money, how to work, how to use their money, how to support their family. Like they're adding more to the community there as opposed to just taking when it comes to products, labor, etc. So they're putting back in with more than what they're taking out, which I think is great. I think it's a great move. The second paragraph here, they essentially reiterate the point and just make it very clear that they're doing stuff beyond the warehouse. And basically the main thing here is what they're actually teaching these women, these workers. Their involvement does not end there. The KAD manufacturing features a government registered school to teach workers how to sew, as well as open up bank accounts to manage their payments, and then even have an on-site kitchen they use to feed workers during the workday. So not only do they help them make more money, not only do they help them manage their money, but they feed them, they give them training, they help them outside of the warehouse or the factory, right? They go beyond the warehouse when they're giving back and helping these workers. So they generally tell you what the relationship and their partnership is. They get specific on how they're actually helping, and they tell you that specifically, which is great. The more specific you can be, the better. And then the third paragraph here is, we're proud to say that 100% of our snuffle mats are crafted in KAD's factory in Ghana, where we've helped provide employment, training, and confidence to its local citizens. So they just kind of recap what they just told you, and they're telling you what their commitment is to this factory. Like, not all, like, it's the only place they get them. It's the only place they go for labor. It's the only place they make them and ship them out of. And they're confident and they're proud to say that they help these people where they're getting that labor from. And that's basically indirectly saying, like, most companies source from outside of the U.S. For manufacturing, for goods, for whatever, and they don't do stuff like this. Or if they are, they're not talking about it, right? And that's what they're doing. They're separating themselves from other brands that are selling similar products, and they're saying, socially, the positive change we're creating and we're adding to the world, you're buying into that when you buy our products. That's what they're doing. They're tying the customer's emotional resonance with the brand and the product to that social positive change in Ghana, right? So that's the angle. That's the hook. And then they finish up here. When you buy from us, you support our factory workers as well. That means a lot to us, and we hope it does to you too. Literally, what I just said there, they just recap it and summarize why it matters that you buy from them and what happens to your money when you actually pay them. So yeah, this is a great section of copy. I think that it's very clear, it's very concise. You could probably get this down to fewer words, but this does the job. It tells you what their partnership is, what they're actually doing, why it matters, where your money's going. You're buying beyond the brand and the products, and then what that actually means to you as a customer, which is great. It's fantastic. It's a great piece of copy. And then their CTA here is buy good, do good. I think that's decent. I think something like do good and complete your purchase now. When you buy now, when you complete your purchase, you're doing good in the world, or something like that. Buy good, do good. I think the CTA works, but I would test the copy here and just see if we could get more specific on what they're actually buying. A supplement in a cart, their abandoned cart, etc. Tie that to their cart, which is literally directly below the CTA button here is the cart. So like use this button as a transition. Use this button to transition them into actually completing the purchase and saying, hey, when you buy from us, you do good in the world. Complete your purchase now. Yeah, it's a lot of text for a CTA button, but it transitions into the cart of them saying, oh yeah, that's right. That was in my cart. And the reason you're telling me about Ghana is because when I buy, I get to support Ghana workers as well. Or add a line of text here transitioning into that and say, hey, now that you know why we use Ghana labor or we use workers in Ghana and help them, even though we manufacture and ship from Ghana, this is why we do it. This way you should care. Why we're telling you this, like give them a reason why you're telling them this and say, because you left this supplement behind, we wanted to let you know about the workers in Ghana. And when you purchase today, you're actually doing more than just buying your products. You're helping them, you're helping these women. So that transition either in the button or in some text here is going to make them clicking on this card thing way more impactful because you directly specifically told them, this is what I want you to do next. Again, being specific typically gets you more sales, and it's because there's a directive behind it. It's not indirect, it's very direct. And then they finish off here with why choose Paw5. And they have a 30-day, so their guarantee is a 30-day hassle-free refund. The one thing I mentioned here is get rid of the quotes, because it's not a hassle-free refund. I don't know if they're trying to add some personality or joke here, but it is a hassle-free refund. Like you call us in 30 days, we'll give you your money back, keep the product, no hassle. There is no quotes around that. It is a very direct offer. It's a very direct guarantee. So if unless there's something going on here that I'm not aware of, I would get rid of the quotes, the quotation marks, and just go with hassle-free refund. And then you've got 6 reasons here, or 6 features of why you should buy from Paw5. Again, why choose Paw5, and they give you 6 reasons here. These are features. Something that they could do with a welcome sequence, they could go through each of these features and write a story or some kind of feature, benefit, outcome type email, just explaining it. So 100% natural. What does that mean to Paw5? Non-GMO, dog-safe ingredients. What does that mean for you and your dog? GMP certified, internationally certified. What does that mean? What does that mean for you, your dog, the products we make, buy from us? What does that mean? No chemicals made organically. What kind of chemicals are usually in products that you should be aware of? So that could be an education email. Natural instincts, builds off your dog's natural hunt and forage instincts. So the whole idea that dogs have a natural instinct to forage and hunt, that could be a new concept to customers, right? And introducing that and saying, hey, this is a new perspective or a different perspective to see your dog at, or see your dog through, like a new lens. So when you're feeding them, or when you're training them, or you're taking them for a walk and they're sniffing through the grass and they're scuffling through bushes and stuff, like this is the instinct they're trying to exercise, and you can do that with a puzzle bowl, a food bowl like this, or a supplement or whatever. Tying these features into benefits and outcomes for your dog and your customer, it's going to give them reason to buy. It's going to give them ways to see your product and your brand in the world they live in. So they say, oh, my dog sniffed the grass. Paw5 told me that they have a natural instinct to hunt and forage around and look for stuff. That's what they're doing. That literally puts your brand in the customer's life, as opposed to just saying natural instincts and hoping that the customer makes that connection. So, and then dog safe plastic, 100% safe and tested. What does that mean? What is your testing process? What does safe mean? What other brands do that you don't? What do you do that other brands don't? Like, there's so much here just in these features and benefits that you could do within a welcome sequence to get people bought into the idea that your brand is the best one you should buy from. So, yeah, that's a pretty big insight too. This is a great email so far. Like, there's a lot we can pull from it and use when it comes to writing up like a welcome sequence, any kind of emails, copy, ideas. It really just comes down to expanding, like taking one feature and benefit and expand that into whatever, into anything and everything you can, because it is a reason to buy. If you're saying it's a reason to buy, prove it. And that's the thing. That's the question you have to ask yourself when you write an email: is every section, every line, every word is so what? So what? Why does this matter to the customer? And if you can directly state why this matters, that they read this right now, keep it. If you can't state and say, I don't know, it just sounds good, get rid of it, or find a reason to keep it, right? And then, yeah, so this is a suggested product. They're using this bowl because I'd imagine it's because it's a part of the snuffle mat. It is a puzzle type product for dogs, for while they're feeding. It mentally stimulates them. Again, I think I would test out and see if removing this bowl actually gets more purchases of the cart with the specific snuffle mat. They may be testing, saying, hey, when we add the bowl, they go to the rockable, add it to the cart, and they actually complete the purchase. And we get, let's say, 3 to 5% of people actually adding it, which means a higher AOV. That's great. But I would test, if they haven't already, to remove the bowl and just go with the snuffle mat and just the bowl separately. And once they complete the purchase, email them and say, like 2 weeks later, and say, hey, you got your product, your dog's used it a couple times, do they like it? Here's another one, another puzzle you can rotate in and out. Or position this bowl as a rotation item. Say, like, hey, this is a snuffle mat. Here's a bundle for a snuffle mat, a bowl, and something else to keep your dog busy. And you can rotate these out, keep them mentally stimulated. They won't get bored. There's different ways you can bundle things as well if you want to bring these category items back in. Then you've got CTAs here to go back to the product. So for Snuffle Mat and the Rockin' Bowl, which is this. And then you have your standard footer information with terms, mission statement, value statement, etc. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this breakdown. It is a longer one, but there's a lot to pull from this email. So a couple insights just as a recap. One, the social credibility, social movement, explaining why and how you use labor to develop your products and ship. That's for some customers, that's going to be a good thing. For some customers, it's not going to care. But knowing your customer, that's why you want to know that, because you can decide if this is going to work for them to actually complete a purchase or not. The next thing, the copy here, explaining what you do, why it matters, how it works, what the customer can expect, and why they're buying from you. Again, social credibility, it's a great piece. When you can explain those things, the who, what, why, where, when, to the customer and say, hey, this is why you're buying, this is when it happens, this is how it happens, etc. It's going to give you, it's going to give the customer a more or a deeper connection to your brand, because they're like, yep, I believe in this. This is the stuff I believe in. This is what I'm looking for. It goes beyond the product and beyond the brand. It goes into their life. And if you can do that with your emails and your copy, whether it's a abandoned cart sequence or welcome sequence, you're going to get more purchases over time because customers see your brand in their life. The other insight, I think, the features benefits here. So turn each of these into an email, into a welcome sequence. So you have 6 emails right here you can run, plus the first couple for like a coupon or something. Taking your features, giving them benefits, talking about the outcomes and why that matters to the customer. That's an email right there. So you can pull those out. And then the final one, what kind of bundle can you make with the Snuffle Mat, this Rockin' Bowl, and maybe a third item, and say, hey, I know you want the Snuffle Mat, which means you're probably interested in puzzles for dogs while they're eating, like dog food puzzles. Here are 2 other items when you bundle. You can get them for, let's say, 30% off if you buy them now. You can put that in the abandoned cart sequence for people who are not buying the one item. You can also sell that bundle to your list directly and say, hey, we made a bundle. Go check this out. And you're going to get a percentage of people buying it because they're like, yeah, hell yeah, I need to get these for my dogs because of X, Y, and Z. You could probably use the natural instinct angle to sell the bundle, because it's like, hey, naturally, their natural instinct builds off hunting and foraging. That's what dogs want to do. So give them that when they eat, and rotate these items out every couple of days. So it keeps them mentally stimulated and it gives them a reason to eat their food, as opposed to just saying, hey, it's in the bowl, go eat it when you want. Anyway, don't want to run too long on this, but that's an idea there of how to bundle that. Those are 3 big insights. I hope this helped. Like I said, I've got other videos on YouTube breaking down various emails on welcome sequences, promos, abandoned cart sequences, etc. So go check those out. So I hope you can take these insights back to your brand so you can make more sales. Feel free to comment on this video. Let me know if you have questions. I'd be more than happy to discuss with you and talk about how we can help your brand with email. Check out my other videos. So in the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good one.